Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words, become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down a section from my book, The Art and Science of Storytelling, and we're going to be discussing what exactly is a theme. A theme is what I call the essence of a talk. More specifically, the subject. More specifically, what is it about? And in regards to themes, there's different ways of getting to it. One is what I call you create the theme first and then you design the words. And the other strategy is where you create the words and over time a theme reveals itself. For me, I like to do the first strategy. I'm the kind of guy that likes to have a theme from the get-go. And for you to also have a theme from the get-go, you simply want to ask the question, what's the gist of this talk? You don't want to be too specific, but you just want to ask the general question of, what's the gist? And for example, right before I was about to record today's video, I asked, what's the gist of this talk? And I said, discuss what a theme is. Okay, so that is the theme of this video. It's a theme about themes. And once I have the theme, now I can determine which words to use, which paragraphs to use, which words are nonsense, and much more. R.L. Stine, the creator of the Goosebumps series, this is pretty much what he did. He had this very unorthodox strategy in regards to creating books. He thought of his title first, and then he created the manuscript. If you watch most interviews of authors, you'll notice that they do the exact opposite. They create the manuscript first, they put a lot of thought behind it, and then they slap on a title. So why did R.L. Stine start off with a title? Because if you look closely, he's answering the question, what is the gist of this book? And when his mind outputs a Night of the Living Dummy, now he has an idea of what the story is about. And once he has an idea, what happens is that he knows which words to use. The reason that a lot of people are stuck with storytelling is that they focus a little too much on the words in the beginning stages, and they never ask, what is the gist of this talk? If they simply asked, what is the gist of this talk? They now focus on the superset, and the subset of the words take care of itself. I get the other strategy though, where a theme reveals itself. And there was this one time when a theme revealed itself to me, where initially I had this idea that I was going to create a talk on my newsletter, which by the way, you can sign up for, ArmaniTalks.com/newsletter, free daily insights on communication skills. On this particular day, when I was thinking about what to write, my mind outputted the topic, talk about the first time you learned how to skateboard. So I started to write a newsletter on that story. I talked about how there was this kid named Billy in my neighborhood who was a couple of years older than me, and he decided to teach me how to skateboard. In the beginning stages, he was teaching me on the grass. If you learn to skateboard on the grass, what happens is that you're capable of balancing, you overcome a lot of limiting beliefs, and you work on these micro muscles, which is much better than going straight to the pavement. We were doing very well in the beginning stages, but afterwards, your boy Armani got a little cocky. I started to do all these little tricks on the grass. Whenever Billy would tell me to focus on the fundamentals, I would shoo him away. Whenever other kids in the neighborhood would ask me, "Yo, Armani, can you skateboard yet?" I would nod my head. I'd say, of course, I know how to skateboard. Don't they know that I skateboard on the grass all the time? So in my mind, I knew how to skateboard. I was getting cocky. Billy was able to pick up on this, and Billy didn't like that. So he one time said, "Armani, today we're about to hit the streets." I felt proud. I said, "All right, well, about time, Billy." So we get on the streets, and Billy says, "Armani, just Focus on the fundamentals. Do everything that we've been doing on the grass right now. But instead of listening to my teacher's command, I did something reckless. I got on the board and I immediately did this advanced trick, and it wasn't good. I start flinging up in the air. I'm desperately trying to grasp something to balance with. I can't find anything. I'm yelling, and suddenly I fall dead on the ground. I scrape my ass. I hurt myself. I'm dizzy, and eventually I open my eyes. I get my vision back, and Billy, he's extending his palm out to me to help me up, but he's smirking too. His smirk symbolized something. It symbolized just because you can skate on the grass, Armani, does not mean that you can skate on the streets. So in the beginning stages, I was over here trying to create the theme of simply talking about how I learned how to skateboard. But as I continued to write the story, what happened was that an alternate theme began to emerge. The theme that I really got out of it was riding on the grass was equivalent to book smarts. I'm learning a lot of the theory, but me learning on the streets is real world experience. Do not confuse book smarts for street smarts. That was the theme that I was getting out of the content piece. But wait, there's more. There was a reader who read this story and he emailed me back. Said, you know what, Armani, I really needed this. Your story just gave me a wake-up call. I'm no longer going to have analysis paralysis. I am going to make this career transition. Career transition? That wasn't my intent. But it didn't matter. Because the theme that he got out of my content piece was, you need to bet on yourself. You need to quit riding on the grass, aka the safe job, and you need to go on the streets, aka take a job that will challenge you. That's the interpretation that he got out of my story. So every now and then, you may create a story with a certain theme in mind, but do not be surprised if a new theme begins to emerge as you're creating the talk. And do not be even more surprised when someone else consumes your content piece and gets a radically different interpretation of what you intended. That's what makes storytelling so magical. It's very hard to predict. And when things are hard to predict, it keeps you on the edge of your seat and it makes you want to tell even more stories. So if you want to learn how to tell more stories, be sure to check out my book, The Art and Science of Storytelling. Within this book, you will learn more about how to design a theme, how to create plot twists, how to create enriching characters that are very relatable, design vivid settings, generate conflicts, sprinkle in lessons within your stories, and much more. Check out The Art and Science of Storytelling in the link in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on ArmaniTalks.com and grab your copy today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.